Then there were the things I didn't miss. His booming voice when he yelled, the thunder after he'd slam our front door, the way Mom cried and smoked all those cigarettes, the heavy knocks from police. We stopped in front of a shiny blue Mustang. ¿Te gusta, macho? I liked his old tinted-out Accord better. It had made me feel like I was in a spaceship, but I didn't want to hurt Pop's feelings. He was clearly in a good mood. It's tight, I said. Sí, nene, sí, he said. Estamos en PR. If you're my son, you can't be some little gringo kid, entiende? What do you mean, if? He flicked my ear and threw my bags inside. I melted on the blistering seat. When the engine came on, I blasted the AC, but Pops immediately turned it off and rolled down the windows. Do you pay for gas? He asked. I wondered what the point was of him being a drug dealer if he was going to be such a fucking cheapskate. He might as well have cleaned toilets or stood outside fancy Manhattan buildings like all the other dads I knew. A cigarette hung from the side of his mouth and wobbled like an antenna. His gold chain hid in the thicket of his chest hair like a vine in a wild forest. Your mom seeing anybody? Not that I know of. She talked all day about the white doctors at her job, the ones she answered phones for. But only as a fantasy. She wondered out loud sometimes what her life might have been like if she'd met one of those guys and resigned herself to being his hot Puerto Rican wife instead of getting knocked up by Pops at 19. Pops put the car in gear, turned around, and started to reverse out of the spot. When he was halfway out, he stopped, put the car back in park, and pointed his cigarette at me. You tell me if she was seeing somebody, right? I leaned my head out the window, trying desperately to pick up a gust of wind to cool me off. Yes, I said. Sí. We pulled up to the McDonald's just before the city center turned into a maze of small streets. I smiled. Mom didn't let me eat fast food, but when I was with Pops, it was what I subsisted on. Inside, salsa played on the speakers. The woman at the counter was young and cute, and Pops got to flirting immediately. Why is someone as beautiful as you working here? She responded, as you'd imagine. I asked for a Happy Meal and looked at a display showing off the plastic toys I might get. All Lilo and Stitch themed. I stared at the Stitch figurine and prayed for it. Then I realized who I was with. I want that one, pa. ¿Cómo se dice? I sighed. Yo quiero eso. Por favor, Pop said, pretending for the pretty young thing that he, of all people, cared about fucking manners. Pops ordered chicken nuggets and a soda. He pulled out the thick wad of cash he always seemed to be carrying around, a wad so thick it could knock someone clean out. He peeled off way more bills than the meal cost and winked at the girl, pointing at the Stitch toy. The girl's smile revealed bright braces. Before we left, she scribbled her number on a paper bag with the pink pen and signed it with a heart. We ate in the car with the windows down. Pop sipped his soda and matched the conga beat coming from the radio with taps on the steering wheel. As I bit into my cheeseburger, a man approached my window. His hat looked like it had been run over a few times, and his t-shirt had holes in it. In his hand was an empty large soda cup that he jangled around. He rested his hands on Pop's car. Señor, ¿me regalas unos chavitos para comer? He smelled sour, like the drunks and fiends I was used to seeing in the Bronx. He rattled his cup of change once more and was just about to go into his spiel when Pop shushed him. Cállate, no más. I don't want to hear it. Get the fuck away from my car before I shoot you. The man was undeterred. He must not have believed Pops. He shook his cup once more. Por favor, señor. Pops reached under his seat and pulled out a black pistol. In a split second, it was cocked and aimed. ¿Qué te, cabrón? Muévete. The man put his hands up and slowly backed away from the car. I took another bite of my cheeseburger. When the man had moved on enough to Pops' liking, he put the gun back under his seat. Me cago en tu madre. He looked over at me. Never be like that, Javi. I scrunched up my cheeseburger wrapper. What, homeless? He pushed the side of my head with his finger. No, smartass. A beggar. He pointed out the window at the man dragging his feet, heading toward another parked car in the lot. Ese tipo, he's got no chance. ¿Tú sabes? He goes around feeling sorry for himself instead of taking shit into his own hands. ¿Entiendes? You can never live like that. You don't feel sorry for yourself.